Hi guys, welcome to another day. I am so glad that you're here today. Welcome to Blooming Hearts because we're here to bloom, you guys. We're here to bloom as women, as mothers, as whatever you want to call yourself. We're here to bloom and to have a great journey in everything that we do in this life of ours. So today I wanted to come on here because something else came in my mind. I am now coming from a child's birthday, and so that's why I'm all dressed up because most of the time you guys see me in my car looking messed up, no makeup, no nothing, ready to go to the gym, come out of the gym, or do some type of errand. But today, girl, your girl did it a little bit. What y'all think? How did I slay this week? I'm really bad at slaying wigs, so don't laugh at me. I'm really bad, but I tried, and I was too lazy to lay this side down. You know what these girls do now? They do some whoop over here. Whoop. Can y'all teach me how to do that? Because I don't know how to do that. I just literally just wear the wig as it come, put it on, do a little bit of a something here, put some makeup on the lace right here to let it match my skin, and then that's it. So don't come close up to anything close to my hair because that would be an embarrassment. But I just wanted to talk about today about something that came in my mind. And these are the things that I wish I had known when I was in my 20s. Obviously, your girl is like mid 30s, 30s something. And so I feel like, this channel really I created it like I always say because I want to, grow. I want to document my journey as a woman, as a mother. And then if this is a good place for us to share ideas on how we can, continue to blossom as women, I'd love this channel to be that, to be just that. And the experiences that I've had in my life as, a woman in general, as a mom in general, as a career woman in general, I'd love to share some of those things here because I think that we can all, put our inputs in there. Maybe I can learn something from you, you can learn something from me, right? So one of the things, or quite a few things that I've learned in my 20s are the first thing is, and this is going to sound boring, but it's the truth. I would say for any 20-year-old out there approaching 20 or in their mid 20s, if your parents have decided that they wanted to give you some type of advice, career advice, boyfriend advice, girlfriend advice, whatever type of advice that they choose to give to you in terms of like, friendships, girlfriends, boyfriend relationships, those kind of relationships, or career type of advice, I would advise any 20-year-old to take their time and listen to whatever it is that their parents has to say to them, because I'm telling you that in my mid 30s right now, I am grateful that even through the arguments and some pretty heated arguments I've had with my parents, I'm glad that I took at least 85% of their advice and run with it, because if I hadn't, maybe today I wouldn't be where I would be. Maybe today, maybe I would have had a different um life. I think I would have still been okay, but if I hadn't completely, I don't know where I would be right now. And so I'm always grateful for the advice that my parents have given me and the upbringing that my parents had given me in my 20s, and in my before my 20s, even so that I could, thrive as a person. Now, I don't say that you have to throw away your own dreams and whatever you think it is that's good for you out the window. That's not what I mean. But all I'm saying is make sure you take into consideration any advice that anybody that loves you, that brought you up, whether even that might not be your parents, it might be a grandma, a grandpa, an auntie, or an uncle. Whatever they're saying, for the most part, is for your own good. So I would say consider it. For me, a big example was basically my career choice. Initially, I wanted to do something completely different. And my parents are like, you know what, that's great, but you can always pursue that in the future when you've already got something established for yourself that, for sure you're going to get a job, for sure you can pay for yourself, for sure you can pay for your own bills, and then you can pursue whatever you want. But if you don't secure that first and you go with whatever la dream you have in your head, what if that doesn't work out, and then you're ready to deep in already as a woman, you already start having kids, you may already be in the midst of, so many things. And then now you're kind of stuck. So I am, even at that time, I didn't even know all of this, but as now being 30 something, 30 something, I am like, you know what? I am very thankful that I took what they said into consideration. And this, let me tell you my background. I am not born and raised in the US. I came in the US when I was about 15, 16 years old. And when I came here, that's like my parents' first generation immigrants. You see how I slicked this to the side and all my natural hair is showing over here? I thought I was trying to be cute, and no, let me cover that up a little bit. Anyway, I'm like, if I should call myself a first generation immigrant or second generation immigrant, I don't know, but well, I'm a U.S. citizen right now, so I guess I'm not an immigrant. But before becoming a U.S. citizen, I was some type of generation immigrant, and so things were not easy. So my parents are like, "You're not about to come over here and do some crazy thing in college, rack up all this debt, and then you can't even get a job." Like, I don't come from a rich family, is what I'm saying. Things were not laid up on a silver platter for me, so I have had to work for everything that I have. You know, I just had to, and you couldn't just kind of like play with your future. You didn't have the cushion to like explore things and stuff like that. And so that's why I say, like, in my 20s, I am very, very glad that I took my parents' advice. And did what I did. I like the fact that I became a nurse, because with nursing, there's so much flexibility. You don't want like one type of nursing, you can change it, switch it up, and do a different kind of nursing. And then because it is such a flexible career, you're able to, kind of do it. And if you find that you don't really like it, you can just do it for a while, work maybe as needed per diem, and then find another job or find another career to pursue, go to school for something else. Because with nursing, you can work 3 12-hour shifts and go to school for something else full time. If you really put in the work, you can do it. You know what I mean? So I'm glad that I did that. And then, but what I wish I had known then that I know now is this: if you're in your 20s, do not waste your time in do not waste your time on unnecessary things. And what I mean is, have fun, explore, adventure, look for things that you don't know exist. My time, to my defense, there wasn't, social media was not as big as it is now. It was basically Facebook, and that's it. That was when everybody was writing all of their days activities on Facebook. Like every 5 seconds somebody's writing something on Facebook and you're going in to check it. That was my era in college. But there wasn't like the whole thing of like, it wasn't advertised as much as like go and experience, go and explore, go travel. And I wasn't in an environment that encouraged that as much, because I wasn't in a very I don't want to say I wasn't in a well-to-do, because we were okay. We were good financially. I mean, we weren't not like struggling or anything, but not in an environment where my friends were like traveling all the time. And it's like you're in an environment of hustling, basically. Like my parents were working 9 to 5, always, I don't know how to explain it, but I think some of you get it. Like, I just wasn't exposed to things like go hiking, go and do this, go and do that, explore, travel, take a trip. So I graduated college with kind of doing the same thing that my parents were doing: get a job and work, get a job and work. And being young, what you see around you is people going to parties, going to the club, or going to bars. So that's what I would do on weekends and stuff like that. And then so my life was kind of basically just that. Like, I had a good job, I graduated college, I would go out with friends and go to bars, go to clubs. I mean, not that much of a club scene, but would go out to bars and some lounges and stuff like that. But that was kind of like my social life. Nothing ever came to my mind that I never was able to explore the fact that I loved adventure, just because it wasn't around me. Like, your environment really does make you. Like, I wasn't able to explore that side of me when I was younger. So I would say that if I knew then that I had to kind of get out of my comfort zone of the regular things I was doing and the regular people I was around to explore more of myself, I would have done it. I would have taken a couple of trips because at the time it was just me. So I could have afforded one trip every 6 months, or like just simple things like going for like a nice hiking adventure, and just stuff like that. I wish then I knew that more. Another thing I would say is that I think a lot of us have had those 20-year-old boyfriends or like those little flings and stuff like that. Not that I've had that many, but for like the few that I've had, or like the one main one that I've had, I wish at that time I had never wasted more than like maybe 6 months on one particular person. And the reason why I say this is that when you're young, you want to invest most of your time discovering yourself, learning more about yourself, putting yourself out there for adventures, exploring and learning about you, so that when you're older, you can understand more of yourself rather than spending that time of when you're older trying to find who you are. Do you feel me? Although I do believe that life is continuously evolving, so you never really know yourself 100%. I think people even in their 60s, 70s are still trying to learn about themselves, and that's the beauty of life, right? But I do think that in our 20s, a lot of us women, because of how society has been, is because of how society has thrown at us the whole idea of by a certain age you need to get married, by a certain age you need to have kids, by a certain age you need to do. When you're at that age between 20s and 30s, if you don't be careful, you will waste so much time on investing your energy and time on the wrong people versus investing that energy and time on yourself, on getting to know yourself, on learning about yourself, on exploring, on figuring out what it is of you that you are really, you know. And so not that I spent a whole lot of my time doing that, but there was a portion of my time that I spent on that where I wish I hadn't really. That should have been done like maybe, like I said, 6 months, maximum a year. So and not spend so much time on that, like not investing your energy in things of such, like trying to be in a relationship or trying to make somebody happy, or those kinds of things are so draining at such a young age that you're like, after you get to a certain stage in life, you're like, why did I spend my time even doing that? Why? Why? And it's not just us, it's like a lot of women, a lot. And that's why this channel is mainly for us women evolving, learning, and blossoming in our journey of life to really understand the stages of life. Like that 20 to 30-year stage to me, if I could go back, is just a decade of exploration, a decade of adventure, a decade to have fun. Yes, have a boyfriend, two, three, do it, but not with the intention of like locking yourself up type of thing, more of the intention of getting to know more about yourself, getting to know more about what you want out of relationship, what you require out of relationship, what you aspire a relationship to be like, versus um focusing on people pleasing kind of thing. Because I don't know if you guys realize, in the past, society was more of like women pleasing and wanting to, oh, I guess the feeling of feeling validated by being in a relationship. I guess like that's kind of how it's been for a while. And it wasn't until I grew to this stage to realize that, what the heck is the point of that? You know? Why has society made it so that women have to have validation out of whether they're married and they have children or they have a relationship or not? That is not that is not what makes a woman valuable or valuable, you know? So not fixating a big chunk of your time on that is something that, is very important for every 20 to 30-year-old woman to understand. You need to focus on yourself. You need to focus on you. And if you are in relationships, don't like twist your mindset. It is not about you locking yourself in or trying to, by all means, you have to get married by this age, you have to have kids by this age, you have to. No, it is a moment of learning, learning about yourself. Even, what do you like, what do you not like, what is it that you, like I said, aspire in a relationship. It's a moment of learning. So don't forgo going out with your friends, exploring, taking trips with your friends, doing the things that you want because you want to now spend 24/7 with somebody, because that makes you feel validated in some way. That validation should be coming from yourself. You need to learn how to validate your own self. You should not be looking for outside validation to feel like you belong in some type of society that really may not be at your own benefit. Basically, that's what I've been trying to say throughout this whole entire video. So that's another thing about my 20s. And I think that's a big one for a lot of women, whether you like it or not. For a lot, it's the truth. It's part of reality, and it's part of the reasons why a lot of women make mistakes. Thanks to God, I feel like I've made good choices throughout my experiences as a 20-year-old. And I you know what? I don't want to say I regret it. I'm grateful for them because I've learned, and I'm able to look back and say, oh, I'm glad that I didn't make that mistake because blah, 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 blah. And rather I made this decision because blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? So it's all a process of learning. It's all a process of growth. But, there are some people who are lucky enough to be in a different environment and not have to go through certain experiences because they just are in a different environment. Another thing that I wish I knew in my 20s is that, and this is more about career. Um, I wish I had done my master's right away after school. If you're a nurse and you're listening to this and you're young, um, do not ever let anybody tell you to not get your master's right after getting your RN bachelor's. Do it right away, okay? Because even if you want to get your experience, you might not get the job of your dreams because you have a master's, you don't have experience. The fact that you have it under your belt, you've already eliminated a lot of stress for when you get older. You might already have kids and all of that. Do it right away. Or if you don't want to do it right away, the best thing to do is, okay, get your job, do work for 3 years, and right after 3 years go back to school. Do not wait until the 5th year, because if you wait until the 5th year, you might as well wait until 10 years. That was me. I almost did it I think when I was like about 5 years into being a nurse, but then things happened and I didn't follow through with it. But I finished it this year. And I'm so, so glad that I did. I went back to school, I finished it, but I'm forever learning. So I'm never really done with school. Anyway, that's another thing. Like, make sure that when you're in your 20s, you don't play with your education. Do not let anybody ever tell you that you need to work and get all this experience because nobody's going to hire you if you don't have experience. Don't let anybody tell you anything. Don't let anybody stop you. If you have the opportunity to stay with your parents until you're done with your education, do that. Because even if your parents may require a certain amount of money for you to pay while staying with them, it is way better than you going out for rent or renting another place, for yourself. And then now you have to work full time and then you're trying to go to school. No, if you have the opportunity and the option to stay with family after your bachelor's and pursue your master's and your PhD, do everything right away. You're not going to regret it. Once you finish your PhD or you finish your master's, you might not get a PhD level job just because they need you to get the experience. However, you will get to that job faster. You see what I'm saying? That someone who doesn't have it, because now you have everything. So all you need is maybe 2, 3, 4 years and boom, you're going to get your leadership job. You're going to get whatever job you want. You're going to have that confidence. They're going to see it and they're going to know that, oh, this person has A, B, C, and D. They could do A, B, C, and D. They're going to look at you faster for, higher paying jobs. You feel me? I would say that. Another thing, and this is real key for any woman, any mom out there, that I wish I knew in my 20s. And let me tell you why I started off by saying, listen to your parents. Listen to them. Sometimes we want to be butterflies, right? But sometimes we act like butterflies without wings and we fall. Our parents are our wings. a lot of the time. You see what I'm saying? Listen to it, because if I had listened and taken into consideration their advice more seriously, by now I probably would have been banking. Because they were trying to let me know that, oh, why don't we all get a place? You buy it, we pay for it for rent. And when you decide to leave, whether you have a family or whatever, we can stay in it, and then you can rent a portion of it to someone else. They were trying to make me a young billionaire, and I wasn't even thinking about it. Because in my mind, I was thinking, oh, well, if I want to move and be independent, that's going to like hinder me from doing that. If I meet somebody and I end up getting married, what about that? What's going to happen? I was thinking about the things that BS things I was thinking about, like why I should have. Like by now, I would have probably been owning 2, 3, 4 properties. And yes, now you can live the chin chin housewife lifestyle, getting income from your rentals. Like, why didn't I do that? You know, yo, if you're in your 20s, you have a good job, say you're an RN like I was, stay with your parents. Stay with your parents. Get that MSN, get that NP, get that PhD, get all the money, ding, 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 save that money and start buying property. Before you get that, do it. Okay? Do it. Do it. Do it. If you're in your 20s, please do it before you have kids, because then you're going to have income coming in already. Okay? Buy at the least one property and then buy a second property. Let me tell you, if I had known better, like by now I have to pay for school fees. I have to pay for car notes. I have to pay for student loans. I have to pay for this. I have to pay for that. Although that is something that still may be part of the plan, I would recommend that if you're in your 20s, sister, do it. Okay? Buy 1, 2, or 3 properties. Go to areas that are not that expensive, if anything. Go to Ohio if that's the case. But even if you are banking $500 only from one as a profit, if you have 2, that's 1,000. If you have 3, that's 1,005. If you're a stay-at-home mom and there's no other income, you're getting 1,005. Every year rent is going up. By the next 5 years, whatever, you are banking who knows how much, right? Huh? Isn't that a good plan? Isn't that a good plan? So if you're in your 20s, don't let anybody distract. Don't let anybody distract your destiny. Don't let your even own self distract your destiny. Don't let anybody distract your destiny. Listen to what I'm saying very, 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 very well. Because even there are people out there who will block your chances, even with the right people, even the right companions. Okay? Even the right companions. I am grateful to God I listened to my parents. I'm grateful to God. God decided to bring somebody great in my life, right? Without having, allowing blockades. Maybe you have certain friends who live a certain lifestyle. You have certain chingam boys living type of lifestyle. You have certain environments living certain lifestyle, or maybe you always present yourself in the wrong environment because hey, the only thing to do on the weekend is go to Afrofusion or Afrofuture or Afrofrafran or Afrofrinfrin, and you'll be doing all these things. At a certain point, you have to sit down and think. So, where am I going with this? Me, the type of person I am, is this where I want to be? Right? You have to think very, 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 very well. If you're a woman, you see, now my African accent is out because I mean it, what I'm saying. If you are a woman, think very, very well. In fact, I need to start getting ready for the day. Let me start taking this earring out. You have to really, really think strategically, not anyhow. Think strategic. Don't let anybody come to block your destiny. Because look, if you're a Christian, let me tell you, the way God answers prayers is not really by a boom light like this and you get miracle. It's not just like that. Sometimes, rare, he'll do it like that. I am a witness. I am a witness. One day, maybe I'll tell you that story. I am a witness that miracles still exist in that magic way. They are there. But there is something. It's through humans. God works in mysterious ways. So if you don't become that mysterious human vessel to make God work, then you can just be waiting forever for your miracle. You can just, maybe you are even your own disruption to your own destiny. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if you're a woman, be very, very careful with the companies that you keep. If you're in your 20s, be very, very, very careful with the companies that you keep, with the friends that you keep, with the especially if you're in some type of relationship that is not a good one, as in if you're with people that you feel like you always have to people please, if you're with people who are not going anywhere in their lives financially. I mean, how can you be a woman and be with broke person? Where are you going? Or if you yourself are broke and you're going with another broke, where are you two going? You're not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere. You better forget that one. Huh? Because once you start having kids and you're the woman and you're hanging with broke people, that is when you see what hunger means. And that is when your mama will, you whatever your mom and your dad has told you, you remember. Do you understand? Do not be the blockade of your own destiny, because you can, at that 20s to 30s, if you're not careful, you'll make so many mistakes that you might not be able to fix unless you use your mind and you, or maybe you get lucky, right? Anyway, I just wanted to come here and talk about what is in my mind, because whenever something is in my mind, I have to come and share it with my kinds. Does that rhyme? Thank you so much for watching. You guys have a great day.